Hello, it's Lisa Ann Pinkerton.
I can't hear. I got no audio return. I got no audio return. Check one.
It's time to rock and roll.
5 minutes off. Okay. I was born ready. That's what they say. That's what they say. Exactly like that. I was going to put this in front of me or behind me. But, all right. We're on this camera.
Oh, thank you.
Well, well, well. Here we are at last. It is RE Plus 2023. Welcome to the show, folks. Welcome to the show. My name is Nico Johnson. I am your co-host here for the PowerUp Live morning show. I'm joined by my illustrious co-host, Lisa Ann Pinkerton.
Hello.
It is so good to see you.
It's excellent to see you as well.
Listen to that radio quality broadcast voice. Lisa Ann, how long were you in radio?
Over 10 years.
10 years. You got me beat. I barely got 8 years as a podcaster, which, as we all know, is a hobby.
Actually, I think podcasting is a lot more work.
It can be, yeah. You got a team at the radio. I didn't have a team for 6.5 years. So the PowerUp Live morning show is here every single day for you all to feel a little less stress, a little less pressure. It's a way to ease into the day and into the show. It's a way for Lisa Ann and I to help peel back some of the layers of this complex thing that is RE Plus, that every year gets bigger and bigger.
It is. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know what? It's one of those things where there's a lot of anticipation to get here. There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of stress. Is the exhibit booth going to work out? Is the things you order going to show up? And then you get here and you're overwhelmed with all the content and everything to see. So we're here to help you understand. It's okay. You're going to make it through.
And I got to tell you, even if you listened to the Suncast Know Before You Go episode, which was tremendous, there is still a lot to digest and ingest and think about. Every day, at the beginning of the day, we're going to bring you the PowerUp Live Morning Show. The PowerUp Live Morning Show is brought to you by Meyer Burger. Meyer Burger is a manufacturer of the future of solar panel technology with a global track record of gigawatt scale production and coming to the U.S. in 2024, setting up module and cell factories. We're grateful that Meyer Burger has partnered with us. Thank you for the amazing swag. We'll get to swag in a minute. I am also really grateful for KeyBank Capital Markets. KeyBank Capital Markets is our presenting sponsor for the PowerUp Live stage. All throughout the day, for the next 3 days, we have KeyBank Capital Markets to thank for helping make this stage possible. We have so many other supporting sponsors and folks that helped make this entire thing possible, for which we have, we have to be grateful that we are on stage with them now.
Yes.
Lisa Ann, How, if I want to know what's happening at the show, would I begin to unpack? Where would I find all of that information?
You would download your handy app if you have not already. Stop what you're doing, download the app, start looking through,
Let me see.
and figure out what it is you want to see and want to do, because this is going to be your Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
This is going to be your little pocket friend. And and this little guy is going to help you through your day. You can star any type of panels that you want to watch, booths that you want to check out, and then I use it as a checklist, so I uncheck the booths as I visit them,
Oh, that's
so my
smart.
list gets shorter and shorter, and I am
is-
less overwhelmed.
Well, I am taking more notes from you. I have to admit, despite having shared with everyone that they should download the app, I downloaded it this morning, just before I came to the show floor. I would have been so much more prepared, but it's not like I'm going to leave the PowerUp Live stage a whole lot to be able to go and see sessions, but I will be going by to see booths, and that is a really, really, really good tip. I wish I had had that one.
Well, now you got it.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much happening on the show floor. As you walk around today, there's a lot to take in. One of the things that I'm going to be paying close attention to just along the aisle back here behind the PowerUp Live stage is the innovation stage and startup alley, one of my favorite areas of the show floor. I always love to go check out who are the new startups, and in particular, the startups that are part of the American Made Challenges prize. And today, at 4 p.m., they're going to announce the winners of the AMC Challenge, the winners of the prize. And then tomorrow, at about 11, I think, 11:30, they're going to be here on stage. You'll get a chance to speak, or to hear them. I'll get to speak with them. You'll get to hear them. And we'll be interviewing them. Lisa Ann, where are you going to try to make it to on the show floor after the morning show?
I got a bunch of booths I want to hit up, and I want to go to, over to Caesar's Forum, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I want to make sure I
Good
see
point.
those exhibitors early and show them some love, because there's some good companies over there.
There is. Absolutely. Caesar's Forum, where is that?
That is south of this conference center, and you take a shuttle over there. They run about every 10 minutes. And this is a great way to network. Most people are like, oh, shuttle, I don't want to take a shuttle, I'd rather walk it. Remember, it's like 100 degrees outside, so you don't want to be all sweaty when you show up over at Caesar's Forum. And you can use these shuttles as an opportunity to network.
It's true.
You're going to be standing in line to get on the shuttle, talk to the people around you. Talk to the people you're sitting next to. Use it as an opportunity to meet new people.
Yep. And ground transportation is, if you're going along the escalators or past the escalators back into the hallway, you'll see signs that tell you how to find the shuttles. This is really important, folks. As RE Plus expands, you have to find, until we can get into the Las Vegas Convention Center, we have to find increasing capacity. So this year, because there's so much interest, there's over 1,500, over 1,400 exhibitors, so much interest. Please go visit the Caesars Forum. Make sure that you put that on your agenda as well. There's some fun stuff happening, Master Speaker Series. We've got a guest coming up who was just on stage with the illustrious Jigar Shah. We've got a speaker from the former Nevada governor, speaking with Dan Sugar of Next Tracker on stage at the Master Speaker Series. It is a lineup that in and of itself could be a summit, a conference.
Absolutely.
The Master Speaker Series is incredible this year.
Absolutely. You're going to recognize a lot of those brand names up there, a lot of very impressive, very smart people who've been leading companies you are well aware of. You know their names. And these are the people that have been leading the industry for years, and they're up on stage sharing their wisdom. I highly recommend you check them out.
Absolutely. We've got Eco Art Show is all 3 days. Where is the Eco Art Show?
You know, that's at Caesars.
It is at Caesars.
Yes, along with those diversity meetings.
We have so many different areas that you have to visit. The community lounge, which is actually up by the on the way to transportation to Caesars. Diversity meetings. All day today there are various diversity meetings. Tomorrow they all meet sort of at the same time.
Yep.
And that is a really great innovation in the lineup for RE+. A real focus on how do we bring diversity of communities, how do we pull those communities together. It's the first time that we've actually had diversity meetings specifically for each community that wants to get together.
Yeah, and those communities also have booths. So if you can't make the meetings,
I didn't know that.
you can still go over to Caesars. There's a line of booths and chat people up who are manning those booths or womaning those booths, who are personing those booths, who are humaning those booths, and chat them up and learn about their perspectives and what they're up to in this industry, because it is quite fascinating, the point of view that some people have coming from different backgrounds.
Yeah. Speaking of fascinating point of view, we have the president of Meyer Burger, Artis Johnson, who's going to join us up on stage. Where did Artis go? Are you guys hanging out with Artis? Artis, can I get you to come up on stage? Just slide that headset right on, my friend.
And while you're getting settled, we did have one pro tip we wanted to throw out there from our co-host for Thursday, Lauren Glickman. She said, put your phone on low power mode. Put it on lower power mode. You are going to be using that phone all day. Set yourself up for success and keep it on low power.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be too disappointed if my phone shut off.
Fair enough. I definitely know a lot of folks are going to be coming up to get the Meyer Burger charging bricks.
Yep.
We'll talk about swag in a minute, but
sure.
Meyer Burger is a manufacturer that's kind of the manufacturer behind the manufacturer, right?
Yeah.
I find all the time I carry the Meyer Burger water bottle around because it's beautiful and I love matte black.
Yep.
And people say, well, Meyer Burger, who is that? 70 years in business, make equipment that most of the modules that you guys are utilizing in the field have been made on their equipment. Can you give us a quick intro of the company beyond that for those who are unfamiliar with this brand?
Yeah, like you said, we're a 70-year-old brand. We've been around in the solar industry for over 20 years in that. We started in the semiconductor industry before we moved into the solar industry. And as you said, about 50 to 60 gigawatts a year pass through our technology every single year across the world and the globe. About 2 years ago, we decided to vertically integrate and become our own producer of modules and cells. And so now we're doing that. We've got 1.5 gigs in Germany, and we are coming to the U.S., and we'll be starting with 2 gigawatts of both module and cell in the U.S. So, when we like to say that we're the brand behind the brand, we really are a technology company at first, at heart, and that's, so you hear about us, we're doing the heterojunction technology. We have a lot of patents around how we integrate that with our smart wire. We're doing a lot of work right now on IBC technology. You'll hear that in the coming months and years, not only with heterojunction, with TopCon, and then of course perovskite, the magic word that everyone talks about. We've got 29% ownership of a company called Oxford PV, so we're fully ingrained into what's coming down the road. And we're excited about what we have today, of course, and we definitely are working towards making sure our customers are satisfied with the U.S. manufacturing piece as well. But we're not taking our eye off the ball, which is how do we get more energy produced from solar on people's roofs. So that's our job.
And being in the industry for 70 years, it's not like you're resting on your laurels. It sounds like you're staying on the cutting edge of technology as it's coming, keeping yourself current and moving towards the future. What kind of advancements are you seeing or looking for from manufacturers this week as you're walking the show floor?
No, when you come to RE Plus, you typically we're going to walk around and you're hoping to hear, for me as a module manufacturer, you're hoping to hear what's the next thing, right? What do you see? And a lot of people are talking about the next technologies. PERC has kind of hit its end, right? And Meyer Burger was a pioneer in that technology. But we know that it's coming to its end. So people are looking around saying, hey, there's TopCon, there's heterojunction, people are talking about IBC. What is it? I like to tell people, make sure you understand what's possible and what's real, right?
Yeah.
What you're really going to start doing. But this year, I don't think people are going to be talking nearly as much about technology as they're going to be talking about these magic words called domestic content.
Oh, yeah.
So people are going to be very interested in that. And of course, the Treasury didn't make it very easy right now in understanding what that is. And there's a lot of discussion about what those milestones will be, because as a manufacturer in the U.S., we're really interested in other manufacturers coming to the U.S. of other parts of the supply chain, including poly, wafer, and beyond that into the parts of the module, the frame and the racking and the glass and whatnot. So that's what I would think you'd see, a lot of discussion around domestic content. You'll have people asking, do you have a domestic module? And I like to tell people there's no such thing in terms of this, calculation for this bonus 10% bonus on the ITC. So make sure people understand it as much as they can, and we're making sure that we educate people as we see it as a manufacturer of solar cells and modules in the U.S.
Artists, you've been coming to this conference a long time. It's kind of old hat for you, but there's a ton of new people coming to the show. This is, I think, going to be, again, record-breaking attendance.
Yep.
What questions would you advise? I find when I was at Trina, people would come up and they would ask the questions that were, they just weren't the right question to ask. So what would you advise folks who are approaching any vendors, but particularly module vendors, questions that are going to likely get asked or going to lead to the next question?
Yeah, well, we're a big proponent of understanding that the rectangle makes energy, right? And good, bad, or indifferent, our industry has always been driven by the one thing, power. It's all about power, power, power. And of course, power is a great indicator of what the thing's going to produce. But in our experience, when you calculate LCOE, it's not just about power. It's about how much energy you can harvest, how much energy you can harvest at any given day, and over the lifetime, in the lifespan of that module. And so for us, we tend to say, and you're starting to see this transition because energy storage is coming along. No one's talking about the power in an energy storage. They're like, how many kilowatt hours can I get out of that battery? And I tend to say to people, it's like, why don't you ask them how many kilowatt hours will you put into that battery with the solar modules that you are choosing? Because oftentimes manufacturers will try to drive towards something. Go get power. Go get that number, that magic number of a 4 for the residential. And I'd say at the end of the day, the number means very little if you don't understand how well it works on a 140-degree roof.
Absolutely.
You know, and how well is it going to work in 10 or 15 years? That's the magic to it. So I implore people to really start thinking about ROI and LCOE and how you pitch that to your customers, whether it's a homeowner, a business, or of course the utility scale players. And the sophistication in modeling tends to go opposite of what I just said, and the utility scale players are very interested in that, and they do great calculation. That's why we've got about 6.5 gigawatts locked up on utility scale. Amazing. Because they understand that the heterojunction technology is really going to produce energy.
There's going to be a lot of folks trying to parse the difference between heterojunction and other types of technologies and warranties, et cetera. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You got to dig into how it's producing energy and how it's driving to the bottom line.
I mean, you 100%. Can, a Mustang can go really fast in a straight line. But it can't corner very well.
Right.
So this is the kind of thing you need to think about. You're going to be using this technology in multiple ways, not just one activity.
That's right. You can get a '69 Chevy go look at it on Sunday morning at the store where everybody's in its cherry and everyone loves it, but you're not going to drive it across the country, right? So for us, it's really about get that gas mileage, right? That's what you translate that to for sure.
Good way to think about it. Yeah. Well, speaking of mileage, we have a little bit more to take care of here on the stage.
Sure.
My friend, I would love to have you back on Suncast to talk about domestic content. I want to dig more into that, the factory you guys are setting up, and how Meyer Burger is bringing that technology to bear. But thank you for joining us on the morning show, and thank you for being our presenting sponsor.
No, I appreciate Nico. I appreciate you guys for
what you're doing.
To see you.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Keep it growing. All right. Thanks.
Awesome.
Take care.
Careful with the headset. There we go. Easy to walk away with it. I
know. It's so comfortable.
It is. It is. As I mentioned earlier, the Master Speaker Series is really a lineup of who's who. And this morning, to kick things off, there was a conversation with none other than Jigger Shaw and our next guest, Mr. Lon Huber. You're after. So I'd like to bring Lon up. Lon, can you come on up? We'll chat for a minute about the conversation you had this morning. I would like to say that Jigger had with you, because
there you go.
I don't want folks to think that I've been saying, Jigger is the more important person on the stage. He's not. It's an even stage, equal stage.
Well, thank you for that. Even though he is deploying like $100 billion in capital, I will not argue with you.
Well, I'm sure Duke has deployed many billions of dollars in capital, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we've got a lot of infrastructure. In fact, our distribution transmission system can wrap around the world 10 times.
Oh my goodness! I didn't know that. I'm a North Carolina resident. I know that. So for those who are unfamiliar, why don't you let folks know what you do at Duke? Who are you?
Sure. So I'm SVP of Pricing and Customer Solutions. So we try to solve customer pain points and also bring benefits to the networked utility system at the same time. So it's a great win-win. So think EVs, community solar, demand response, energy efficiency, all the fun stuff is in the house.
Yeah. We've also got Lon to thank for a lot of the negotiation, as it were, in the Carolinas specifically, for how solar gets injected into the grid. You've been quite busy, I would say, setting precedents. And a lot of folks like to say that, as goes California, so goes the nation. But candidly, I've seen a lot of states looking to Duke and looking at what you guys have been negotiating for the Carolinas as an example of how to manage net metering, how to manage customer engagement with regards to being power generators.
It was
right?
a completely collaborative effort with the solar industry, and that's why I think we have a better end product than some other states that go through a big war and then you sort of like leave it up to chance of what happens with the regulators. So we're really excited to see it, and we filed a 60 megawatt solar plus storage pilot that's in front of the North Carolina Commission right now. So we're excited about that as well.
And the talk you had today on the stage was related to virtual power plants and how utilities can deploy these systems with solar developers. What was one of the main takeaways that you want people to remember from that talk?
Well, yeah, Jigger tried to get the crowd to chant, "We are VPP," because
did he really?
Yeah, 3 different times.
Oh my God.
We are VPP.
And I think they would have done
totally
it if it wasn't an 8:30 a.m.
Right.
panel. I think they would have done it. So he tried his best, but he was making the point of we've got to move beyond just the solar-only transaction.
Amazing.
It's got to have some type of dispatchability. It's got to have some type of integration in the utility system. And so I think that's a great rallying point of hey, let's take it to the next level now that we have these new technologies, now that the utilities are willing and able to partner when there's this type of cost effectiveness and dispatchability. So let's take advantage of it. And so when you're out there with the customer, think, hey, is there a battery you can couple with it?
Yeah.
Is there a smart thermostat? Can you get them in a demand response program? So that was like the big push. And again, I think he would have had them just a little bit later.
We are VPP. That's hilarious. Lon, where do you see bottlenecks over the next year or two for the installers? Not the super regionals and the big guys, but the local installers who really do need to think, re-envision, reimagine their business model.
Yeah. Well, there's financing as an issue. We know that the cost of borrowing has gone up, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the low-hanging fruit with customers has been just taken over the years. And so the customers that are out there now, they have, they might not have the $10,000 in the bank to pay for the system, right? And so it's getting the financing. So we actually just got approved for a program called on-tariff financing. So it's financing that's tied to the meter, not the customer. And so we can give them some like great energy efficiency upgrades, new HVAC systems, right? And no money down for them. We pair it maybe with some IRA and some other incentives. So they start saving from day one. So that's a way where we're trying to help as well. But I think it's all about partnerships and the local installers. They can be a part of like our Find a Duke, our qualified installer program. So that's a great way. But just in general, thinking about the different partnerships to help you out. I used to work for a small installer, and it proved really beneficial when I started to, get different types of collaborations together to make a more holistic bundle for our customers.
And tying it to the meter then means that all of this work stays with the house, and it's a lot easier to transition from owner to owner.
Exactly. The customer, and this is I said this morning. We feel like we cracked the code because other programs, when the person leaves, they have to pay off the thing. But no, this is tied to the meter directly. So we think it's scalable, and then it solves that split incentive problem with multifamily housing that you have in renters.
Yes. That's the next big challenge I feel that we're going to tackle as an industry is the multifamily.
Yeah. So we think this on tariff is the way to go.
Yeah. And so what was unexpected in your talk today with Jigger that you thought was poignant?
Well, he did mention about the friction between the utility industry and solar industry. And so we talked a bit about that and just how the new technologies, these new opportunities, the fact that we've got a lot of load growth, it opens up the door to have conversations of opportunity. And I took that as an opportunity to say, hey, the future that we all envision isn't going to happen without new conversations, without new framing. And so the new conversation is this opportunity to bring dispatchability, integration, into the conversation, right? So, Jigger's like bury the hatchet, and because I really do think this is a new time.
Yeah.
Let's leave the baggage over there. Let's move forward with conversations, figure out how we can make a difference together.
Thank you, Lon. So great having you on stage.
Yeah, thanks
Lon,
for inviting me.
Always a pleasure to have you, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
All
That is
Right.
fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
The innovation that we're going to see in the next couple of years for how we actually bring the homeowner into the process of creating their own electricity and being a part of the grid is really remarkable. And you know, what's also remarkable is the companies that have really stepped in to lift the industry up. One of those companies that has effectively consumed the majority, as it were, of the racking industry is SDEC Solar Group. I'd like to invite SDEC CEO Stein Voss to the stage. Stein, it's been 4 years since we've had you on the stage, man. It's good to see you.
Exactly. Yeah, great to see you.
Welcome. Thanks for coming across the pond.
Thank you for having me. Wonderful.
So, Stein, it's been quite a run for SDEC Group, SDEC Solar Group, and I would imagine that as a result, last 5-6 years of consolidating excellent brands that folks know, PV Hardware, Panel Claw, and many others, there's some need in the marketplace for a rebrand, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
we can't just rattle off all these brands
and
one
also
after another.
Exactly. And I know they fall under SDEC Solar Group, but you've also got SDEC, the racking group in Europe, that is quite successful.
Yeah.
Today, you all announced something along that line. Can you tell us a little bit more about the new name under which the SDEC Solar Group falls?
Yeah, so today we're gonna launch our new brand, which is called Enstall, Solar Sooner. It's the name of the mother brand, so SDEC Solar Group will be replaced into Enstall. But it's super important to realize that the brands, the business unit, will keep their own name. So Iron Ridge will still be Iron Ridge. Panel Claw will still be Panel Claw, and EcoFast the same. Because we have a go-to-market strategy where we strongly believe that we want to be as close as possible to the installer. And with the different brands, we can do that. But we learned, exactly to your point, that in Europe we have a business unit that's called SDEC, and then we have SDEC Solar Group as the top holding. And we have a big strategy around digital.
Yeah.
So we have decided to put a new name on top of that, and that's Enstall.
That makes sense because you have a lot of brand equity in these other companies, Iron Ridge, Panel Claw, etc., and you don't want to just throw that away.
No, exactly. No, and those brands are super strong. Also to your point, everyone knows these brands.
They have
We
very
bought
loyal
them for a
customers.
reason. Yeah, they have very loyal customers, and we want to keep that. But yeah, it makes sense to replace the top holding.
You have a perspective from having a global team. Lots of products sold in Europe and obviously the majority share here in the United States. What would you share with those who are watching and are concerned about supply? They're concerned about constraints and growth and you know, trade barriers. What from your perspective do you see as the biggest opportunities and maybe some of the challenges as well that the industry is facing and Enstall is trying to help alleviate?
Yeah, so if you look to our business model, so we have a very clear go-to-market strategy. If you look then to our company, one of the biggest departments is RD&I, Research, Development and Innovation. So we have almost 70 people working on product development, and there we put a lot of time in it to make products that are super easy to install. What we don't have is own production. So we work with contract manufacturers all over the world, but super important, most of them are close. They produce it there where we sell it, so close to the BU.
I like that.
Because
Keeps the transportation down, keeps that carbon footprint down.
Exactly to that point, but also makes us super flexible. We have at least 3 suppliers per SKU. So what we have seen last year, over the last 2 years, a lot of supply chain issues, we didn't have that. Because it was still very flexible, organized, and that helped us a lot. So we could have spent our time and most of our money in RD&I to come up with new products, and we're going to present a lot of them today and the coming days at the BUs on the booth.
I'd love to know, you know, I know that as individual companies, sustainability and you know, keeping this local feel while being absorbed by a larger company like SDEC has been important. Could you talk a bit about the role sustainability plays in Enstall as the new brand, and how does it emphasize that commitment?
Yeah, so we are in the heart of energy transition. So this is the key topic for our company, and we do a lot of things. Of course, if you talk about supply chain, to my point, we want to produce this as close to where we sell it, but we also want to use products that are as most sustainable as possible. So that's why we, a couple of years changed our aluminum product line into a greener steel product. It's not 100% green steel yet, because that takes some time.
That's a long time, but lower carbon.
But green steel has a lower carbon, and that particular product where we started with is now our most favorite product in Europe. Now that's one of the initiatives which we also want to do here in the United States. But we also have a social program which is called Aztec Empowers, and now it will call Install Empowers, which is our program to train people with a longer distance to the labor market to become installer. We did it a lot with refugees from the Ukraine coming to Europe, to the Netherlands. We also did it a lot with veterans here in the United States. We have now trained over 1,000 people to become solar installer.
Yeah.
And what we see is that people really liked it. And of course, they like the industry.
Yeah.
It is a super nice industry. And most of the people have a very good technical background. So it is relatively easy for us to bring them up to speed. Of course, it differs per situation, but we love to spend a lot of time on that. So that's also part of our ESG story.
Well, thank you for giving back in that way, because we know we have a significant labor shortage. We need many more installers than we have today.
Yeah.
So thank you for putting forth that effort.
Yeah, it's great to do.
Stein, how many companies do you have represented on the show floor? Just, do you know off the top of your head how many different booths people could visit?
We have 3 booths here.
3, okay.
Yeah, with the 4 brands.
Okay.
So we have Iron Ridge Quick Mount is one booth, EcoFasten is the other, and Panel Claw is the last one.
Amazing. And do they all now say Install, or are all the booths individually branded?
They're still individually branded, but you can see Iron Ridge, an install company.
An install,
Panel Claw, an install company.
Fantastic. Well, Stein, it's impressive to see the empire that you all are building under Install, and I will be making my way. I've got plenty of friends in all of the companies mentioned above, and I would encourage folks that are watching to definitely go check it out. I mean, the work that you guys do is always top notch, and you're definitely a leader in the industry for a reason. Thank you for sharing some of the knowledge about not only how you're helping elevate the workforce, but what we can learn from around the world through the eyes of Install, a global company.
Great. Thank you very much. And
Pleasure.
it was great being here. Have
Absolutely.
a great day.
I hope we can have you back on the show.
Yes, of course. We will.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Well, Lisa Ann,
Yes.
as with most things, all good things must come to an end. It's sad to say, but it's true. I want to make sure that folks remember that there are a couple of things to take into consideration. What are we doing every day? I posted on LinkedIn that we want folks to come by and share with us.
Oh, we want them to bring their swag.
Bring your swag.
We got a swag contest happening today, people.
Buckets of swag.
Meyer
bring it on
Burger
over.
has already entered 2 products into our swag contest.
Install's commitment.
Oh, yeah.
But really, Meyer has set the standard right now. But even if you've got like Pappy's, my buddy Matt, Natural Pain Relief, Pappy, we take all swag, because
absolutely,
the good thing is we're swag hawkers, and we want to see how the marketers in the industry are thinking about presenting their brand. I mean, matte black bottles is a beautiful way to go, in my opinion. A lot of folks are going with chargers. Does it work? Got to make sure it's going to work.
I still have my Imbala charger from Distributech 2016.
Yeah.
Still works.
Fantastic. I wear on a regular basis my Fractal Energy t-shirts.
Oh, yes.
They're the best.
They're
Everybody
awesome.
talks about the Macho Man and
there's
Mr. T.
There's a Dwight Schrute one this time.
I can't wait.
From the office. I gotta run over there before
Fractal
they
Energy's
run
always
out.
themed. Fractal, bring us some t-shirts in case I don't get by there. And then last but not least, if you have a good coffee station, a good espresso station, let us know. We'll give you a shout out. And we need some coffee each and every morning. Let us know. We'll be sure to feature and shout you out here. Lastly, I'd like to thank once again our presenting sponsor, Meyer Burger, for helping us bring the morning show to you all each and every day. We'll be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. as soon as the show floor opens. If you're watching us on the Jumbotron, thanks for sticking around. Thank you for taking the time. We hope we help unpack a little bit more your day and make it easier for you to engage. I'm Nico Johnson.
And I'm Lisa Ann Pinkerton. And remember, you're going to meet all the right people today. Just give it up to the universe and go with the flow.
Swing by the PowerUp Live Stage, presented by KeyBank Capital Markets, and listen to all the thought leaders we'll be featuring here today. We'll see you on tomorrow's show.
The purpose, the mission, the objective behind EDPI North America is of course to put more and more megawatts of renewable energy into the ground. And that means we are replacing fossil fuels, that means we are generating more and more clean energy and supplying clean energy to millions of homes in the US. The objective behind EDPI North America is of course to put more and more megawatts of renewable energy into the ground. And that means we are replacing fossil fuels, that means we are generating more and more clean energy and supplying clean energy to millions of homes in the US and all over North America.
Itself. We're Terra Pro Solutions. We're not just consultants, we're real-world problem solvers. With more than 30 years experience, we've developed over 24 gigawatts of nature powers energy projects across the U.S. We're Terra Pro Solutions. We're trailblazers in renewable project development, problem solvers. From clearing title to mitigating risk along the we've developed over 24 gigawatts of renewable energy projects across the U.S. We're trailblazers in renewable project development. From clearing title to mitigating risk along the development spectrum, we've paved the way for smooth transaction closings. Terra Pro Solutions, developing the energy for life.
The purpose, the mission, the objective behind EDPI North America is of course to put The purpose, the mission, the objective behind EDPI North America is of course to put more and more megawatts of renewable energy into the ground. And that means we are replacing fossil fuels, that means we are generating more and more clean energy and supplying clean energy to millions of homes in the US and all over North America.
Energize a world where nature powers life itself. We're Terra Pro Solutions. We're not just consultants, we're real-world problem solvers. With more than 30 years experience, we've developed over 24 gigawatts of renewable energy projects across the U.S. We're trailblazers in renewable project development. From clearing title to mitigating risk along the development spectrum, we've paved the way for smooth transaction closings. Terra Pro Solutions, developing the energy for life.
The purpose, the mission, the objective behind EDPI North America is of course to put more and more megawatts of renewable energy into the ground. And that means we are replacing fossil fuels, that means we are generating more and more clean energy and supplying clean energy to millions of homes in the US and all over North America.